Would anyone like to come up for a story this morning? Yeah, we still have sparkles from Christmas Eve. They haven't all left yet. Hi, Robin. I love your boots. Those are nice. Your mom gave them to you. They didn't fit her anymore? No. So can I ask a favor and ask you to sit on that step there rather than up here? You can just sit on this one, and then I have room to put this, because this is a big story today that I need to put out here. That's perfect. I tell this story pretty much every year at this time of year, and it's one of the stories about kind of the magic that happened that has grown around the life of Jesus. And so the story begins in the desert, in the Holy Land, in the place where Jesus was born and lived and taught people about love, taught people about God. And the story happens in a little town called Bethlehem, and you may have heard of that town. Yeah, it's become quite famous through the thousands of years, and it's about a couple named Mary and Joseph, and a little boy named Jesus. And they were very, very poor. Life was very, very hard. But they loved each other a lot, and that made things kind of work okay. And unknown to them, far away in a very different land. No, it's not Disneyland, but it's an exotic land in the Far East. It could be maybe India or China or any of those places over there. Anyway, over there were these people, and they were called a whole bunch of different things in the story. So sometimes they were called kings, sometimes they were called magi, sometimes they were called astrologers, sometimes they were even called wise men. And I guess that's possible. So anyway, these characters heard that there was going to be a new king born somewhere far away, and that a star would appear in the sky when this happened. And sure enough, a star appeared in the sky, and what they had been told by very wise people is that when the star appeared, they were to follow it. Pardon me?
The wise men?
The wise men, yeah. That they were to follow this star because it would lead them to this new king. And so they headed out from this country, and they went a long, long way, farther than from here to Vancouver, farther than from here to Calgary, farther than from here to Ottawa. They went a long, long way. And then they kept following this star. And the star, did they have vehicles? Not in those days. They might have been on horses, they might have been on camels, we don't really know. The story doesn't tell us that. But anyway, eventually, I'm just going to move Bethlehem a little bit here. Eventually the star brought them to a big city called Jerusalem. And so they got there, and they wondered if this might be where this new new king was. And the king that was actually there at the time was King Herod. And he wanted to know what these wise men, these magi, astrologers, were doing in his city. And they said, well, we've heard that a new king has been born, and we're trying to find him. And he said, well, that's not right. I'm the king. And then they said, well, no, you're too old. This is a brand new young child. And Herod got really concerned because he thought, well, if there's a new king, what's going to happen to me? So he went to his some of his people and that knew things in Jerusalem, and he said, have you heard about a child being born that's going to be a king? And they said, well, the stories in what they call the Torah, but it's the Bible for us, said that this child would be born in Bethlehem. And he said, oh, okay. So he went to the travelers and he said, I understand this child was born in Bethlehem. So you go and find him and then come back and let me know. So they headed off, and of course the star kept moving. And sure enough, the star stopped in Bethlehem. And they got there, and the star stopped right over the home of this family, Mary, Joseph, and Jesus. And so when they saw this, and when they met this young child, they just knew there was something special about him. He just seemed so wise and so loving. And they all bowed before him. Imagine these poor people and these rich people from far away bowed before him and said, we want to honor you as the new king. And they brought gifts. Oh yeah. They brought gold. And they brought myrrh, which is a smelly oil, but it was very expensive. Can you smell that?
Go smell the oil.
Do you want to smell it, Robin?
That smells so like lavender.
Can you smell it? And they also brought frankincense. You can smell that one too. Yeah, it's like an incense. It does smell pretty good, doesn't it? So they brought all these gifts, and the family was kind of shocked and amazed. And then they spent a bit of time there, and then they decided to head home. But they were worried about telling King Herod about this new king, because they were a bit concerned that maybe he wasn't going to be happy with that. So more gifts for the child. So they went back a different way. They didn't go by Jerusalem. They took a different route back and went back to their home country. I wonder how it would feel to travel so far without really knowing where you might end up.
I wonder how it feels if you're trying to find something and you went like miles from home secretly and then you figure out it's just in the backyard. That would be annoying.
That would be annoying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you say you went to your friend in the night.
And I wonder what happened next.
They went back to Judea and also Grandpa to Echo. I know.
I think that they decided not to tell him if they went home and they
Went to bed.
I wonder what they did when they got home. Don't you wonder about that? The story doesn't tell us that.
shocked.
They were shocked, maybe? Yeah.
But yeah, I think that'd be a good idea. They'd be tired from walking through the desert and back.
Yeah, I'd be tired walking all that way for sure. We're gonna sing a, well, it's new, and it's not new, we've sung it before, but we haven't done it for a while. But it's a song which kind of celebrates this child that might somehow be a new kind of king. And so you're welcome to grab your instruments, and there's actually a dancing verse in this
Not
if you
yet.
want to dance, and we're gonna all sing together. I'm gonna shout.